Hello, it's Mr. Ripka, reading Neruda during Corona. All right, here we are, poem 54, L-I-V, 54. He has blessed us with 5 questions today. So after the dearth of questions in the last 2 days, and by that I mean we had 3 questions per poem, today we have a plethora. We have 5. Oh, let's just get started. These questions are exciting. ¿Es verdad que las golondrinas van a establecerse en la luna? ¿Se llevarán la primavera sacándola de las cornisas? ¿Se alejarán en el otoño las golondrinas de la luna? ¿Buscarán nuestras de bismuth a picotazos en el cielo? ¿Y a los balcones volverán? Espolvoreadas de ceniza. There were some words that were repeated. We heard las golondrinas. Ooh, those are swallows. Like the bird, like, you know, the famous quote from Aristotle, one swallow doesn't make a summer. It's the swallow. We heard that twice, and then we also heard la luna twice, the moon. He's been, before, he's mentioned the moon, but he seems to enjoy talking about the sun and the stars and the sky and the wind more, but maybe he's now approaching the moon, the lunar imagery there. And then we also have balconies. What I mean, interesting, right? So you know already we have some imagery of swallows, the moon. We had more swallows and more of the moon. That happened twice. And then we had balconies. We also had 2 seasons in there. If you heard primavera, that's springtime. And if you heard otoño, that's autumn or fall. And then lastly, we had bismuth, which is an element, bismuth, chemical element. Let's see what he's doing with all these images, huh? Here we are. He says, es verdad, is it true that swallows are going to settle on the moon? That's a long flight. Will they carry spring with them, tearing it from the cornices? Cornices in the Spanish, cornisas, these are sort of ornamental moldings around walls. They kind of look like a V there, and you have like ornamental kind of things here. Yeah. Sorry about that. I was in the garden, so it's my cuff's a little dirty. I'm digging dirt, asking questions to the worms. At any rate, so cornices are that, and so he's asking, will the sparrows carry spring with them? I guess from the moon, and they're tearing it from these cornices. You know, it's a architectural term. All right, we come back to the moon and the swallows. He says, will the moon swallows? So moon swallows. So really the swallows of the moon, right? That is those that have now traveled to the moon, I guess, in the first question. Will the moon swallows take off in autumn? Oh, going south for the winter, for autumn, for otoño. Well, when you're on the moon, I guess, where would you go? Well, maybe the next question will help us. It says, will they search for traces of bismuth by pecking at the sky? Well, they're out there in outer space. Maybe bismuth is an element that is part of stars or something. I know it's hard and brittle, lustrous, kind of crystal-like. And I know it's the 83rd chemical element. It's this grayish white thing, but I'm not sure exactly what it is included in. If it's a part of if it's in the moon soil or something, or the moon dust, if it's in the stars, or where bismuth is. But it is a chemical element on your periodical element table. element number 83. The last one here, last question. They're all about the swallows going to the moon. Here's the last one. And will they return to the balconies dusted with ash? I guess that's not the balconies being dusted with ash. It could be, but I think it's saying here that the swallows are dusted with ash. Maybe because they were searching for traces of bismuth and pecking at the sky, and then they come back to the balconies and they're dusted with ash. And maybe, I mean, it is a hard, brittle element, so maybe it kind of just turns into ash, this grayish white or reddish color of bismuth. So we have 5 questions about swallows, essentially taking interesting flights to the moon. And so without further ado, let us just read through all 5 of these. I'm hoping you can keep these 5 questions in mind and try to extract maybe a theme that's coming through here, or a thought or an idea that Neruda is trying to get across to you and to me from these 5 surreal questions. What is the real thing he's talking about? Interesting way to approach these. So here we go. Thanks again for joining me. Is it true that swallows are going to settle on the moon? Will they carry spring with them, tearing it from the cornices? Will the moon swallows take off in autumn? Will they search for traces of bismuth by pecking at the sky? And will they return to the balconies dusted with ash? There we are. I hope you can join me tomorrow for poem LV. Yes, 55. I want to thank you once again for joining me today for a little Ripka reads Neruda during Corona. And I hope some of these questions helped you think a little bit more deeply, a little bit more interestingly, curiously about swallows. And once again, I hope you can bring all these 5 questions together somehow and make sense of a general thought that he's trying to get across. And maybe he's not trying to get a general thought across, but if he is, somehow you can pluck those images out, see what the images suggest, see what the questions are kind of asking, bring it all together into this beautiful thesis statement of the meaning of poem 54. Thanks for joining me.